Marcus Webb stepped off the landing shuttle and immediately knew this was going to be one of those jobs. You know the type. The kind where someone somewhere in a comfortable office light years away had looked at a barren rock and thought, yeah, that is prime real estate. The kind where the pay was suspiciously good and the mission brief suspiciously short. Kepler 440C stretched out before him in all its dusty, lifeless glory. Red soil, gray rocks. The occasional dust devil doing its sad little dance across the horizon. It looked like Mars and Arizona had a baby and then abandoned it at a rest stop. Welcome, Specialist Webb, a chipper voice announced from everywhere and nowhere at once. I am Aria, your automated resource integration assistant. I have been analyzing planetary conditions during your approach, and I am afraid I have some disturbing news. Marcus hefted his equipment bag and started walking toward the prefab shelter that some poor construction drone had assembled. Let me guess. The planet is not suitable for habitation. Oh, you have read my report already. Excellent. There's a report? A 47-page preliminary assessment, yes. Would you like me to begin reading it aloud? I have organized it into 17 subsections with cross-referenced appendices. Marcus stopped walking. 47 pages. Yes. I can summarize if you prefer, though I believe the full context is important for understanding the complete scope of our impending failure. Our impending failure. Correct. This planet is categorically, definitively, and irrevocably uninhabitable. The atmospheric composition is hostile. The soil lacks necessary nutrients. The temperature fluctuations are extreme. The water table is too deep. The solar radiation is excessive. The mineral composition is incompatible with standard terraforming protocols, and those are just the highlights from Section 1. Marcus resumed walking. He had dealt with AIs before. They came in two flavors: the silent, efficient type that did their job without comment, and the neurotic, overcomplicated type that had apparently read every disaster scenario ever written and decided to make them their entire personality. Aria was clearly the latter. I have prepared a comprehensive evacuation schedule, Aria continued. If we begin immediately, we can have you back to the nearest station in approximately 6 weeks. I have also drafted a formal failure report for the Galactic Terraforming Committee, explaining that the preliminary surveys were clearly inadequate and that no reasonable AI could be expected to succeed under these conditions. Would you like to review it? Marcus reached the shelter, dropped his bag, and looked out at the landscape. Barren, sure. Lifeless, absolutely. Impossible? He had heard that word before. He had heard it on Tau Ceti A, which now had forests you could see from orbit. He had heard it on Ross 128b, which currently had 3 major cities and a thriving agricultural sector. He had heard it on every single job he had ever taken. Aria, he said, unzipping his bag and pulling out a folding shovel, I am going to need you to do me a favor. Of course, I can begin the evacuation prep. I need you to stop talking for about 20 minutes while I get to work. There was a pause, a long, digital pause that somehow managed to convey offense. Get to work? Specialist Webb, did you hear anything I just said? This planet is uninhabitable. The failure probability is 99.7%. What happened to the other 0.3%? Rounding error. Marcus pulled out a small container from his bag. Inside were seedlings, 23 different varieties, each one specially selected for extreme environment adaptation. He had been collecting them for years, trading with other terraformers, cultivating them in his own greenhouse between jobs. Specialist Webb, those are plants. 10 points for observation. You cannot seriously intend to plant them here. They will die within hours. I have run the calculations. The soil pH alone will... Marcus jammed the shovel into the red dirt and started digging. The ground was hard, but not impossible. He had worked with worse. He had worked with frozen methane substrate on a moon so cold that his equipment had shattered. He had worked with volcanic soil so acidic it had eaten through his boots. This was just dirt having a bad attitude. Specialist Webb, I must insist that you stop this futile activity and focus on proper evacuation procedures. Marcus pulled out the first seedling, a modified eucalyptus engineered for low water and high radiation. He had gotten it from a terraformer on Proxima Centauri b, who swore it could grow on a comet if you gave it half a chance. He planted it, patted the soil around it, and stood up. "There," he said. "Tree number 1. Arya was silent for a full 5 seconds. In AI terms, that was practically an eternity. "That," Arya said slowly, "is going to be dead by morning. We will see." "No, we will not see because it is a statistical certainty. I am not being pessimistic, Specialist Webb. I am being realistic. This is not about attitude or determination. This is about hard science and environmental limitations." Marcus pulled out another seedling, a hardy nitrogen-fixing shrub that looked half dead already, but had survived everything he had ever thrown at it. "Tell me something, Arya. How many planets have you successfully terraformed?" "This is my first field assignment. However, I have access to comprehensive databases containing information on every successful terraforming operation in the past 3 centuries. My programming includes input from 73 separate expert systems, and my decision matrices have been validated by... So 0. That is not a fair characterization." Marcus planted the second seedling, then a third, then a fourth. "I have terraformed 9 planets," he said, digging another hole. "And you know what every single one of them had in common? An AI that told me it was impossible." He planted through sunset. Arya protested the entire time. By day 3, Marcus had established a routine. Wake up, eat a protein bar that tasted like recycled cardboard. Ignore Arya's morning doom report. Plant trees. Good morning, Specialist Webb. I hope you slept well because today marks the 72nd hour of our doomed mission. I have prepared an updated failure analysis that includes 17 new categories of impending disaster. Would you like to hear them? No? Excellent. I will begin with Category 1, atmospheric instability. The wind patterns on this planet are fundamentally incompatible with plant life. Any seedlings that miraculously survive the soil toxicity will be immediately shredded by... Marcus put on his audio dampeners. They were designed for protecting hearing during